Hello, Mr. Pakman. This is a video directly to you in response to your recent airing of your views on Gamergate. Now, first of all, thank you for doing that. I mean, you did it in reasonable tones, and I really can't disagree with your opinion. I mean, you're right. It isn't as important as world politics or true tragedies in life and whatnot. It is just about gaming at the end of the day. However, it is a bit bigger than what you're actually leading it on to believe. There's actually a post I'm going to link in here that shows you just how much of an industry gaming really is. It's a multi-million billion dollar industry. It is a large industry. You know, it's worth a lot of money to a lot of people. It's the livelihoods and lifeblood to a lot of people. Now, the other thing I would take issue with is during your comments, you mentioned about the journalistic integrity of the media as a whole. Now, this is a huge issue, and honestly, what you're seeing in Gamergate is a microcosm of that same issue. Again, you're having, instead of advertisers, you're having advertising agencies working in collusion with publishers to get these favorable reviews and favorable coverage for games under these, you know, horrible, horrible draconian kinds of contracts restricting your ability to get the content unless you actually go ahead with the agreement. So you're having that as being one of the things you said about advertisers controlling the message on media. Well, it's the same thing in gaming media. In gaming, in regular media, you're having these political leanings that taint the media message. And you're having that same thing happening in gaming. You're having the feminist ideology being pushed currently as one of the major ones. I mean, there are others obviously, but that is the major one that is being pushed in the gaming space, where really it doesn't exactly belong, because just like the argument of violence in games, it's the same concept. You know, you're not seeing that really the games are promoting any kind of ideology that is actually being reflected in mainstream culture. You're actually seeing quite the opposite. In the same exact vein, you're seeing a much more inclusive community that's being built. And again, there's a hateful minority in that community. There's a hateful minority in every community. And unfortunately, nothing in life is going to really change that. Um, Finally, you're talking about sensationalization of news. You know, the clickbaiting that you see, and like the sensationalist titles that twist the mainstream media's message from truth to being how to make something a story, even if there is no real story there. Where you're having the same thing happen in gaming. For years, you've had these clickbait titles that drive you to try and read this article, even if there's nothing of any real value in it. And it goes further with the fact that, again, you're having advertisers coming in and you're baited with this idea that you're going to learn something about the game, but in reality it's going to be an advertisement for the game. So honestly, Mr. Pakman, I think I have to respectfully disagree with you at one point, that it is, in microcosm, the same problem that mainstream media is having, and therefore is worthy of a bit higher of a concern. This is our little piece of the neighborhood. This is our little bit. You know, we're not going to be able to change the mainstream media overnight. It's just not going to happen. I personally would love to see it happen. I personally would love to see this movement move beyond just dealing with the gaming media and going beyond that to the mainstream media. But the reality is that right now there's just so much money tied up and invested in mainstream media that it's going to take a lot more than a few emails to take them down right away. So, I mean, that's going to take a lot longer, a lot more hard work. But here's the thing. If we can clean up our little piece of the neighborhood, our little corner of it, considering the fact that we are one of the more influential media sources there is right now. I mean, right now we are one of the biggest and still growing industries of entertainment, and a lot of people get their news and their worldviews through that lens. To see that if we say, look, this kind of journalism is wrong as a community, we say this is wrong as a group, and show that we can affect change and actually make this change and make more honest